All right, welcome back, Alpha Sports Talk Syndicate. I'm Adel, got my man King Low.
King Low, the rock star in full effect.
All right, so we're gonna jump right into the main subject, the Roy Jones-Mike Tyson fight. That was probably the most important thing of the weekend. So, as always, we start with King Low and his thoughts.
Well, the production obviously was a big production. Triller got a lot of money behind him. A lot of little subsidiaries, including Universal Music. But straight to the fight, as far as man, I wasn't disappointed, man, for those guys to get in there and do that. I don't think they obviously showed their age. However, man, it was a real good exhibition as far as I was concerned. Roy Jones did what he had to do. I know he was holding a lot, but he had to. Yeah. Mike Tyson was battering him, man. Battering him to the body. Now, I mean, you could tell that Mike didn't have a killer instinct to go in to seek and destroy. Now, I mean, so I think that's, even though he did hurt Roy, now, I mean, at the end of the sixth, bad. And if you notice at the end of the fight, Roy Jones was just clutching that midsection. He was talking about how bad them ribs and shit was hurt. But besides motherfucking annoying Snoop Dogg, now, I mean, he was horrible, man. He did the same kind of shit that he did, when he was doing the little commentary for the UFC, man. Just too fucking over the top. Don't know when to shut up. Nevertheless, the production was good, man. Yeah. And I'm proud of both of those guys. Yeah. I mean, I'm proud of both of them.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, it was a good fight to me for what it was. Nobody was expecting him to be great, but it was nice to see Roy show a little flicker of old Roy. See how he used to fight, the pot shot, and just moving like Roy. Only Roy Jones can move. And Mike Tyson, he held back a little bit, but I think even though they both complained about the rounds being 2 minutes, I think they were both happy that it was only 2 minutes because them niggas was gassed. But
yeah.
But back on the Snoop Dogg thing, I think unfortunately we're gonna see more of that coming up in the future, where we start seeing these sporting events with these entertainers and rappers in it. Because you gotta understand something. Rap music especially don't make any music. Don't make any money. Just like pretty much any other artist, I would say. They don't make money. So in order for these record companies, which are companies, corporations, like you say, Universal and all of them, they really don't have a way of making money and generating money. So if they could somehow get like a Snoop Dogg on this, something like this, it's part of that whole 360 deal. And for those that don't know what a 360 deal is, that's where the record company get a portion of everything that you do. So that's why you see Snoop Dogg on all these commercials and whatnot. That's these companies trying to recoup the money that they invested in these guys. But unfortunately, I hate to say it, but I think that's probably where boxing is now headed. For the boxing heads like me and you, that's gonna suck, because I always enjoy the Roy Jones comments or his analysis and breakdown of the fight during the fight. I like Sugar Ray's breakdown and analysis, but we couldn't hear it because Snoop Dogg was talking the whole damn time, and cracking jokes.
Exactly, and I'm a big marijuana smoker and a big marijuana advocate, but this nigga was high and just would not shut the fuck up. Just like you said, nobody could get a word in edgewise. You know what I mean? Because he was, and he was borderline cooning, man, which is something that, Snoop is known to do.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. But if you pay attention, which unfortunately, I was with somebody who was on Facebook and all of that. That's all that the niggas was talking about, which is all that company wanted. Social media engagement. That's all niggas they were chiming in on what Snoop Dogg was talking about, what he was wearing, and the shades he had on, all of that shit. So again, we're now getting to a point where boxing, just like with basketball, is getting to where it's a hip hop sport, to where the essence of the sport is gonna be gone. It's gonna be nothing but it's gonna be nothing but the bullshit and showmanship of the shit that's around it. And that's what I hate, because I think the sport's probably going to kind of start drifting as we start seeing more of what we just saw the other night, even with the stupid concerts of artists that had nothing to do with the Roy Jones and Mike Tyson era. You know, I could have seen, I understand maybe you do let Snoop Dogg do a set, maybe you bring in some of the older cats, you know what I'm saying, that was in that generation, at least from the mid 90s, maybe Wu-Tang, you know what I'm saying, something like that. Do a Tupac, you know, something for Tupac with him and Mike Tyson was cool. Hell, even let Roy Jones perform, but maybe after he fight, because he probably been tired after he performed. But I'm just saying.
He was fucked up though. He wasn't finna be fight. He wasn't finna be performing afterwards.
Yeah, he shouldn't perform before either, because he really would have been gassed in the first round.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
Yeah, because you know another thing on that. Besides Roy gassing, you know, he was carrying all that weight, bro. You know, Roy not supposed to carry all that weight, and I think that was a problem too.
But I think he did that for protection against Mike Tyson. You know, he knew Mike was,
and it worked. Yeah, he
worked.
needed that. He needed that extra body.
Yeah.
He needed that extra body.
Yeah. But it was cool. It was a good fight to me, man. It was, you know, and it's funny to have that the suspense leading up to it, and them getting in the ring. You know, even they look like old men walking to the ring. That shit was funny as hell. Mike Tyson got to the ring faster than his theme music started, but that shit was funny. But still, like I say, to me, it was good for boxing to see those brothers fight. And, you know, hopefully we can see something else like that with a few other boxers. You know, maybe Bernard Hopkins can get out there and do something, you know.
Bernard Hopkins need to do something, man, because he just cannot go out.
That last loss.
Like the fuck he went out, you know, just
out the ring.
Get knocked out the fucking ring like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just on your last fight. I ain't never seen somebody get knocked smooth out the ring.
Yeah, especially on your last fight though.
Against a common man.
Y'all just niggas to say that. He called him a common man. But you know, to kind of.
Hey, but one more thing about that Snoop shit. That might have been, you know what I'm saying, cats online, you know, niggas online talking about that shit. But I was looking at today, man, and he was getting a lot of bad too. Like a lot of motherfuckers. Probably people like us.
Yeah.
Who are actually sports aficionados.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know, we gonna complain in the same way they was complaining about them, like in the UFC. But it was a fucking showcase. But look, this is a good segue. You mentioned fucking basketball. So let's talk about motherfucking Nate Robinson getting knocked out by Jake Paul.
You know, it's like I was telling people leading up to it, I said Nate Robinson won't last. Not because Jake Paul can fight or anything like that. Jake Paul ain't really shit. He can't box. But with Nate Robinson, he's a prime example. He epitomizes an athlete in today's generation. They think because they're athletes, meaning that they tend to carry high muscle to fat ratio. They have more muscle than fat. So he's relatively lean year round. He does all his training all the time. But there's a big difference between training and developing a skill. You know, I was watching him, and to my knowledge, if I remember correctly, he called out Jake Paul a while ago, because I do follow Nate Robinson on Instagram. But anyway, aside from that, I was watching his training. He didn't know how to punch. He figured because he was an athlete. And granted, when I say athlete, I don't mean, just because you're an athlete don't mean you're good at a sport. Because he played basketball, but he could never perfect his position, which was point guard. So even though he played basketball pretty much year round, he was never good because he never worked on the skill of basketball. So the same thing with boxing, you have to work on the skill. And I want you to speak on this too, but the one thing people always forget about when it comes to boxing, it's not just about bobbing and weaving and moving your feet and all this. You also have to practice taking punches. Not everybody can take a punch, and if you're not used to getting hit in the face and in the body, but I will say this for most basketball players, who, especially because basketball is a finesse sport right now, none of those guys can take a headshot, let alone, because you got to remember, anytime those guys in the NBA get barely bumped in the face, they always holding the face and, you know, they laying on the floor for 5 or 6 minutes and shit. They got to get carted off, concussion protocols and all of that. So for Nate Robinson to, you know, it's one thing to train, but you also have to be able to take a punch. And that's part of your training, you know, regardless if you like it or not. And plus you can't learn that in like 3 months. You can't get used to taking punches. So, but what was your thoughts on that bullshit?
Well, we already seen the fucking result of a motherfucker like that, bro. And I'm gonna say, look, man, you gotta have a killer instinct also. And one thing that Jake Paul have is he wanna knock motherfuckers out. He's not a little white boy. He got all the fucking money in the world to just fucking sit around and train with the best. Know what I mean? And build up his little whatever YouTube legacy. He not just a regular white boy. Nate Robinson, however, is a regular basketball player. No killer instinct whatsoever. And it's just like you said, look, one thing you don't do, you play basketball, you play football. Listen, bro, you don't play boxing and you don't play MMA. Okay? It's a fucking fight. At the end of the day, you don't fucking play. And I mean, to just get knocked out cold. And I know he feeling it, but at the same time, like Jordan Maxwell said, he should have went and did his homework. Yeah. You know what I mean? He should have did his homework. And he didn't do his homework. And you went out there and you got embarrassed. So I give him props for going out there, you know what I'm saying? For putting it on the line. But I mean, at the same time, bro, I mean, don't go out there, man, and just get fucked up totally. Yeah, you feel what I'm saying? Because he had no business being there. Well, see, that's one thing. When you don't have no business being there, that's the big problem.
Well, I like I say, I just didn't like how he assumed because he was an athlete, which that don't mean shit as far as skill. Like, there's a difference between being an athlete and being skilled. You know, athletes, you can kind of get away with that athletic, you know, the athletic side if you're playing football. You playing football, maybe basketball nowadays, you can just jump, you can just dunk the whole game. But when it comes to a sport to where you have to move like that and the coordination needs to be there, he was punching, lunging all forward and charging into him. But then the one thing that he really lacked, like you mentioned, that killer instinct. Like, imagine if somebody like Charles Oakley was out there, you know what I'm saying, those enforcer types.
Now remember though, now that's tough, now that's old NBA now. That's when that shit died. Like, that's some of the last generation. Yeah. Cause now these motherfuckers, you know, when they get into fights and swiping and shit. I remember when Chris Charles, that took 2 on Kobe? Yeah. Bye-bye? Yeah. Just missed this, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, this shit nowadays, you know what I'm saying? Like when, you know, Kareem was knocking motherfuckers. Kareem ended a motherfucker's career with a fucking right hand. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So you had all of these back in, we ain't even, now, the fucking 70s. Yeah. Goddamn, the 70s and the 80s? Oh, them niggas was real. Them niggas could fight. Yeah. These niggas is privileged now, too. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. They're babied so much. And not only that, the rules have changed so much in both the fucking NBA and the NFL. Yeah. Like, you can't even hit motherfuckers hard. Now, I understand CTE and all of that. Some of the stuff might be for the better. Some of it, and I'm saying maybe in football. But I mean, fuck, you know what I'm saying? Remember back in the day, they was showing hard hits and shit. Just nothing but just motherfuckers getting their helmets knocked off, goddammit. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, Deacon You can't
Jones.
See that shit.
Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones.
Yeah,
exactly.
But no,
know what I mean?
But back to, I guess it's gonna be the theme of the day. You take that Nate Robinson fight against Paul. Paul, a YouTube celebrity. Here we go again with this social media influence. So now, with that being a co-main event again on another boxing card, is that where this sport's headed now? You know, now they're talking about Floyd fighting the older Paul. What's the other Paul name? It's Jake and what's his name? He fought
yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Anyway, so now that's a potential fight. You know what I'm saying? is that where boxing is now headed? And then I think with the music industry struggling like it is, I think we're gonna see a lot more of these fights. But I don't think they understand the reason why people wanted to watch that fight, because it was about Roy Jones and Mike Tyson. Those names still ring bells in the boxing industry. So it wasn't, we didn't watch it to see the other bullshit, those stupid ass performers, because we didn't even know that they were gonna be in the mix.
We didn't know nothing about that.
We were forced to, digest all of that, unfortunately.
Exactly.
But had we not had that, it would have been a really great night of fights. If it wasn't for the, those interruptions, really, But
they could have actually had a couple of other fights on there with all of the performances that they had. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But again, I saw when I looked up Triller, and I think their head company, I think it's Proxima Media or some shit like that. But then I seen other like little subsidiaries, and it included Universal Music Group and all of this. So, and you can see that obviously, it's a lot of money behind it. And not only that, it was the biggest, speaking of the names of Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr., it was one of the biggest, or they said it was the biggest pay-per-view pre-sale ever. You understand what I'm saying? So that's saying that, they can still move the needle. So I say Mike can still do a couple more exhibitions, especially coming out of 15 years. And
taking whatever he's taking. Let's not forget about that shit.
Hey, he said he smoked weed before the fight and after the fight.
That's cool.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and weed maps, and that's what I be on. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing letting you know how mainstream marijuana is getting, even though they taxing the fuck out of it. So I stays with the fucking underground too. You know what I mean?
Well, marijuana is like the new alcohol. Remember, alcohol was illegal, and all of a sudden they make it mainstream, and the rest of it.
They are taxing the fuck out of it.
That's how it was. That's how it was in the Prohibition days, from what I understand. Once the government got a hold to it, beer prices and all that shit went up because it was legal. But in hooch, as they call it. But no, it's all good. To me, that was a great fight. But I think another fight that was overlooked over the weekend was that Joyce and Dubois fight. What do you think about that one?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, Joyce is a big dude. He a big, awkward fighter. Definitely not pretty to look at.
No.
Took a lot of shots from Dubois, but man, even though he was looking awkward and kind of goofy a little bit sometime, he was touching him with the jab, and he was just damaging the man. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I would look up, even though the early rounds, and even going up into the mid and almost into the later rounds, Dubois was definitely in the fight, and in fact winning on some scorecard, because he was pushing the pace, but he was just going forward. He didn't work the body enough, didn't have enough movement, definitely showed his inexperience. But your boy Joyce was just touching him, and for some reason, I'm telling you, the damage just accumulated. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it was looking ugly, and then your boy took the knee, man.
That wasn't
and
a
took
good
that
look.
10 count. It wasn't. We learning though that he got that I believe he has a broken orbital bone, which is a career-threatening injury too. But however, it just, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people are not going
just don't come out the corner.
Forgive him for that.
Just don't come out the corner and say you can't see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
just
exactly.
do it like that. But the guy fought. But I think the problem to me with that whole fight, I watched it late last night. The problem I had with it was it didn't look like he could deal with adversity. Because instead of instructions from his coach or trainer, the trainer kept trying to motivate him. Because even the trainer could sense that Dubois was, questioning himself. Like, what do you do when your punches can't get him out? And you got to remember, he never been 12 rounds before. So now he's going past what he'd normally go, and also he taking punishment. Again, not everybody's used to getting hit in the face, but your boy Joyce reminded me of somebody, his demeanor, and he even kind of looked like this, and he definitely fights like this. He fights like the pugilist specialist. If you look at him in that style, he got the same demeanor as Lennox Lewis. And he was just picking them apart. But he was just picking them apart, those little shots.
Yeah.
But that's what I was saying about, like, from a trainer's perspective. I mean, you could clearly see Joyce just aiming for that left eye, just aiming, pop, pop, pop. So, okay, raise your right hand. I mean, your left hand, you know, that's all you have to do. I mean, you know what I'm saying? At some point, you have to defend that spot. But he figured his defense would be throwing punches, you know. That doesn't always
And he wasn't
work.
throwing no combos.
No.
He wasn't throwing no combos, and he was not going to that body.
Yep.
Like he was too, like, again, like he was believing his own Kool-Aid too. Because remember, he been knocking motherfuckers out.
Yep, never
But
been.
it's all about the level of your opposition.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, so now, okay, look. So now we got a possible rematch between Joe Joyce and your boy Usyk. He calling out Usyk. So what you think about that one? Now Usyk beat him already.
I think that was in the amateurs or something, wasn't it? Or the Olympics.
Yeah, I was actually watching the clip.
Well,
they didn't have no headgear on though.
Okay, but here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. To me, I think Usyk just moves too much. He's not going to be there to be hit. And we seen Joe Joyce just take punishment from a guy who just stood in front of him. And we talking about Usyk, we talking about a guy who creates angles and, you know what I'm saying, creates tempo. You know what I'm saying, he can feel you out, figure you out, and move accordingly. And then he does it fast. Like he took him a couple of rounds with Chisora. Not saying Chisora is the greatest fighter, but he didn't wait, unlike his counterpart or his training mate, Lomachenko in the Teofimo Lopez fight, where I think he waited too long to get going.
Way too long.
Because you know, the whole landscape changed, you know, as far as, damn, I don't want to get on that topic, but anyway, I'm gonna say it. Think if Lomachenko would have started going in the third round, because it seemed like once he started going, he pretty much won every round. And would we be talking about Teofimo Lopez in the light that we talk about him now? You know, Lomachenko did what he needed to do. But back what I'm saying, Usyk figures you out fast and he moves, and he's, again, in a heavyweight division full of people that don't move, Usyk is a real problem. He's a real problem. So it'd be interesting. And I'll be honest with you. I like the fact that Joe Joyce won. And I like the fact that Dubois, even though he took a knee, he's still somebody, if he decides to fight, which I'm sure he will, decide to fight again, the heavyweight division is interesting now.
Yeah, you know, Dubois also,
he's young too.
He's very inexperienced. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He's young, and I think they tried to bring him up. I think they thought that because Joyce is not a power puncher, even though he does have knockouts, he have these kind of knockouts too. You know what I'm saying? Where he wear you down. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And he a big guy, you know.
And he's older,
that's one thing.
He's older.
Yeah. But my thing about Joyce too is he can't expect to keep taking all that fucking punishment in the heavyweight division. You know, because they talk about how durable and all of this he is, but you can only be durable for so long when you're in the fucking heavyweight division. And he got caught with a lot of shots from Dubois, and Dubois was basically only trying to hit him with the right. So, you know, to me, when I see somebody in Usyk now, both of these guys, both Joyce and Usyk, have obviously improved immensely, you know what I'm saying, since they fought the last time. So it's gonna be interesting. But yeah, I definitely think that, you know, I'll definitely give the edge to Usyk, and I'll give the edge honestly to any of the bigger heavyweights, heavier punching heavyweights over Joyce.
Yeah. Right
now, to me, Joyce is like a Parker type of fight, a Joseph Parker type of fighter. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But still, it's gonna. You know, I want to see the guy fight. Like I say, Dubois. My thing is with that. somebody has to lose. It's okay, man. Just, you know what I'm saying? No, it's not that big of a deal that you lost. You come back and fight. I still want to see them fight. I just want to see good fights being made. I could care less. Yeah. I could see that. I could see a trilogy with those two if Dubois come back and win the next fight. And I'll watch them. But at the same time, man, I think now after that fight, you can't really duck in the heavyweight division anymore. If it's time for you to fight a top 10 or top 15 opponent, those are the names that you got to now pull from. No more can you pull these guys that we never heard of. So we don't need to see Anthony Joshua fight another Pulev or any of them Povetkin. We don't need to see none of those fights anymore. It's enough names out there for Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, even Deontay Wilder. It's enough names out there for you to be fighting, and y'all should all be fighting each other. I mean, let's just be honest. Exactly. So there's no need to run or I don't want to hear about the obligations and all that, because there aren't any other obligations really anymore. Usyk is out there, so I mean, because we're gonna play that game. Usyk is the mandatory for Anthony Joshua. Are you gonna fight him or not? So that's what that is. And Tyson Fury, whatever he got going on, other than wearing stupid suits all the time and smiling all over ESPN, at some point he gonna have to fight again.
You big dusser, you dusser, AW dusser. Yeah, man. It's definitely gonna be. It's definitely interesting in the heavyweight division. Hey, on a side note, with Dubois' eye, he made fun of Joyce's mom and shit being blind too.
Oh damn.
Yeah, he had said, Joyce said he was gonna punish.
Want to make you laugh or make you cry? Yeah, want to make you laugh or make you cry. But yeah, damn.
And he said she wouldn't be able to see him because she's 93% blind or something.
Damn.
And he said that. You know what I'm saying? He told her like you won't be able to see your son, so it's good or some shit like that. And then he get his eye fucked up. Yeah. You know what I mean? Cause he don't want to fucking move his fucking head. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah.
What about this fight this weekend, Big Boy?
Oh yeah.
This is the fight. It's what we want to see. This what we waiting for.
Yeah. I'm still on the Errol Spence train. But I just hope,
down.
Yeah, strap season. I just hope, I just hope after this they'll stop putting Danny Garcia in these big time fights. I mean, if he loses this fight, he needs to go back to being, PBC on Fox, somewhat of a gatekeeper for some of these up and comers, like a Conor Benn, who put on a hell of a performance the week prior to this. Hell of a performance. He needs to go to that standard as far as bringing those fighters from the UK in the 147 division and all of that. Because there's a couple other young cats too that's coming up at 147. But no more should we see him fighting Keith Thurman, Terrence Crawford. He shouldn't be fighting any of those guys anymore. If he loses this time, he had enough chances. He hasn't beat anybody. Just move on with him, or maybe he should go back to 140.
That motherfucker getting paid, man. This motherfucker, that's one thing. PBC taking care of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, but he like the what is he, Puerto Rican? He Puerto Rican. He like the Puerto Rican Amir Khan. He get all these big ass fights for these big paydays for no reason. Like, why is he getting paid this much and getting these big ass fights and these title opportunities? Like Amir Khan, every time you look up, he was getting those big fights.
Exactly.
But
losing every one of them.
And losing every one of them. And getting embarrassed too. At least Danny Garcia, he's better than that.
Yeah, at least he stick around and shit.
Yeah, and he's no
You might
slouch.
have to pound him out. But I think that Errol might pound him out though, dog.
Yeah.
I think Errol wanna make a statement, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he looking good, man. And I think he definitely, man, I think we might look at a stoppage, man.
Yeah, I hope so.
I mean, me too.
I hope so.
Me too.
There's a lot of fights coming up, man. I mean, it's quite a few coming up. I just hate, I guess we're going to switch gears. I hate the fact that Derek Lewis didn't get a chance to fight. And Lewis and Blades, Black Beast.
Yeah, man, with this COVID bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm hope we don't, because here it is, these guys are ready to fucking fight. It's another brother, man, I can't think of his name right now. They had he's a UFC fighter. Fuck, I can't think of his name. But he also got COVID and shit. And he's at his house, you know what I'm saying, broadcasting, talking about he ain't barely got no symptoms. He said, oh, it just feel like a slight little cold to me. You know what I'm saying? It's no big deal, you know. But a lot of these fighters here, you training to fight, you ready to fight. That's what happened to Jacare. These guys are feeling perfect, and then they test positive right before the fight, and they be having negative tests
leading up to the fight,
leading up to it, and then all of a sudden, how you catch this shit?
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying this shit is bullshit. I feel like they know that it's a virus, that they found a fucking common virus that show up and fucking disappear with everybody. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what the fuck they pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's such a 99% fucking recovery rate. Now, I mean, give me a fucking break.
Well, you know it's something that like, we've known that because it was already on the Lysol bottles that virus existed. So it's easy to test for. It's like, from what I understood on my research in the past, it was just, you know, a virus that we all accustomed to and we already have immunity to it to a certain degree. But my thing is, I just find it amazing that you can test negative leading up, then test positive, then test negative 2 days later. What the fuck is that about? You know what I'm saying? So,
and now, and not only, and these motherfuckers test positive, and then like Trump didn't go no fucking 14 days.
No.
You understand what I'm saying? So what is the big, and that motherfucker 74 years old, or whatever, 73 years old. And this motherfucker bounced back fast, like most people that don't have any pre-existing circumstances. But this is interesting though too. This is a good segue into what they've been doing. I've been seeing in the NFL too, and how this shit is affecting sports.
That's why I was going to take it. Go ahead.
They are fining these motherfuckers. They are fining these teams, these football teams,
coaches,
thousands and thousands of dollars, coaches for not wearing masks, for all of this shit. You know what I mean? So this fucking pandemic conspiracy is now is now taking over sports too. So we gotta watch that too.
And
you know
politics.
What I'm saying?
It took over politics with we won't get into the election shit, but it took over that because they got the person in there that's gonna further that agenda. You know, just be honest. So
Biden.
Yeah. So I mean, you know, I ain't no political motherfucker by no stretch of the imagination, because it's, you know, like I've always said, presidents are selected, not elected. So. But,
and we know this, especially with this one, this election.
Yeah, but no, like I say, it's a bigger agenda. It's gonna change our way of life and all of that. It won't be no going back to the way it used to be. Because I won't get into that. You know, I won't get into the whole data collection shit.
I know. We finna go into a whole different show.
Yeah,
this supposed to be Alpha Sport Talk Syndicate.
Not the Melanin blockchain. But
exactly.
I went to Walmart earlier today.
Or the raw files.
Yeah. So, but no, like I say, man, it's just a bigger agenda headed this way. But yeah, the fight this weekend, looking forward to that. I see Figueiredo fighting again on the 12th. You see that?
Yeah, man. Yeah, they
if he don't test positive.
A quick turnaround. If he don't,
you know.
There you go. Because they said Hamzat Chimaev tested positive for COVID too.
Okay, stop.
Now he's supposed to fight Leon Edwards.
Hold up, stop. Now, it's strange. This is strange to me. This show turning a whole different direction now. I just find it so strange. All these people testing positive in football, basketball, UFC, boxing, but yet, was it 2 weeks ago? KSW had a major fight night over, I think, Poland. Stadium packed. Nobody had on masks. No ring announcers, none of the cut people, none of the coaches, trainers, nobody had on masks. Great night, great performances. Didn't hear shit about COVID. The shit was so strange to me that I was checking the date, but nobody had on any type of, what they call it, PPE. None of them had that. Nobody had any of that stuff on. But the stadium was packed. The stadium was packed. You know. But yet over here, everybody testing positive and negative and positive and negative.
Yeah, Elon Musk tested 4 times. He tested positive twice and negative twice. Same test, same doctor, doctor's office, same nurse.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, like
Let's get real.
My mother-in-law, her friend and her husband was going to take the test. They signed up to take it, but the line was so long, they decided to go home and not take it. But they got their results back. The husband was positive.
Wow.
They didn't even go in there. You know what I'm saying? So
wow.
whatever. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but no, it's cool, man. Like I said,
the fuckery of the world.
Yeah. But I'm just waiting to see the fights this week and next week. I think Joshua fights on the 12th, I believe.
Yeah, Joshua Pulev, man, after a long layoff, he got to look good.
Yeah, and that Figueiredo, that's going to be a good fight. Pretty good time in that UK. It'd be early for us, and then later on, we catch UFC. And by then, I'll be in Dallas by then, so it'd be pretty cool for me. Fight night in Dallas, moving from Memphis to Dallas.
That's right. That's right.
So,
congrats.
Yeah, appreciate it. Nah, it's all good. But yeah, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Until next time, stay tuned. We're gonna always keep it real. Hey, Alpha Sports Talk Syndicate.
Full effect.